خلوني وكادوا بل جفوا تقولوا ولا ضير أني أقرأ الذكر أعرف على غير ذنب غير أن محمدا وأتباعه صحبي فلا أتأسف رضيت بربي والحنيفات مسلكي إمامي رسول الله لا أتخلف دليلي رسول الله والبيت قبلتي نصوم بالبيت الحرام نطوف نصلي سجود الراكعين وإننا العذا درجنا الدهر لا نتعسف ولسنا نبالي بالصليب فلا نرى سوى خالق الأكوان يعطي ويتحف ونذكر مولانا الجليل تعرضا.
Now we're going to hadith number 4 in Bulugh Al-Maram, right? Now, so that is still under Bab Miya'u, under Bab al-Miya'u, which is water. Still, brothers and sisters online, anyone with a question, either type it. If you won't forget, also you can leave it till the end of the lesson, inshallah. We're taking 2 or 3 ahadith here, and then we can come back to you. Now, so an Abdullah ibn Umar, he said, the Messenger of Allah, may Allah be pleased with him, said, إذا كان الماء كلتين. كلتين here, scholars have calculated what they mean by كلتين. When water is over 204 liters. Water that is over 204 liters. كلتين. إذا كان الماء كلتين. What? لم يحمل الحبث. Or in another narration, ينجس. So here he said that if water is all the way about 204 liters, it cannot be it cannot be filled, or najis cannot override it, unless if the najis is able to change those 3 things: the color, the smell, and the taste of the water. Some scholars like Abu Hanifa and other Ahmad bin Hanbali, and they went with this hadith regarding that, saying that no matter how water is, as long as those 3 phases has not changed, if a filth goes in, it cannot spoil it. Malik said no, water, as long as it's not big water, if it's in a container and a filth goes inside, whether those 3 phases have come into place or not, the water is considered najis. Example, when you have, let's say, a big one, let's say 1,000 liter of water, and then someone was urinating next by, and then you know a drop of urine entered it, or the urine entered the water, definitely you know urine is filth. So according to the other scholars or school of thought, let's count and see, does the water's smell change from 1,000 liter to that urine? Will that change the smell of the water? No. Will it change the taste of the water? No. Will it change the color of the water? No. As long as these 3 are not met, the water is fine. Other scholars said no, so far as filth got into the water, that's it, khalas. So this hadith is saying that if water up to 204 liters is there, filth cannot overtake it. And then the scholars explain, unless if it meets those 3 categories, unless if the color, the taste, and the smell of the water change, the water is considered okay. Khalas? Now, the next hadith. And عن أبي هريرة رضي الله عنه,
قال
yes,
قال رسول الله صلى الله
the messenger of Allah sallallahu alayhi wasallam said,
لا يغتسل أحدكم في الماء الدائم وهو جنوب.
so ma'ul da'im, water that is stagnant water. If you are in a state of junub, do not have a ghusl in that water. But this hadith also, there are addition. The addition is, do not urinate. ولا يبولن أحدكم في الماء الدائم الذي لا يجري ثم يغتسل فيه من الجنوب. So this one explains the reason why the Prophet ﷺ said, do not have a shower in the water that is standing. So do not have a shower or ghusl in the stagnant water when you are in the state of junub. Or do not urinate in the stagnant water and come and have a shower or ghusl in that same water out of what? Out of junub. So this one has more or less explained detailed why he said don't use stagnant water if you are in the state of junub. Not because stagnant water is considered filthy, but if you will urinate in such a water, do not have ghusl in there. Does that make sense? Now, and the next one. And one of this hadith that we spoke about, the previous one, there are some sort of information about it that makes it weaker. Not the hadith itself, but there is one of the narrators that there is a bit of doubt on him. But with this one is fine. And this hadith that you're going to narrate also, this is a person who has, been a companion to the Prophet for about 4 years. Just the same years as Abu Huraira also been with the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Now, he said, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam has forbade. So, like a woman should not have a ghusl with the leftover water that a man has have a ghusl from, or vice versa, or a man should not have a ghusl with the water that woman just having a ghusl, all of them from junub or from haid. But look at this carefully. This hadith is also considered weak hadith because there are other hadith that spoke about opposite of that. Like the hadith that is next to what this one, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam came and saw water. Maimuna, one of his wives, she left over water, and he, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, was going to have ghusl with that, and she said, I just finished ghusl with this water from junub, but her junub here, not janaba. Hers is after having haid. She just finished having ghusl, and that was the leftover. And he said, water cannot be considered filthy just because someone have used it. Okay? So this hadith has made the one that you spoke about earlier weaker. Alright? Now, so we'll stop here inshallah. So that's hadith number 6, right? Okay. We go on inshallah from next week. So if we give you a chance inshallah, if there's any question both here and online, feel free to ask your questions. And Abu Zubair, I don't expect you to have a question. I spoke to you earlier, and I hope that you don't have any question again. Because if you ask a question, Siddiq will be boycotted. Now,
can you explain this one?
yes.
I didn't get that one properly.
Which one? The last one?
Yeah.
So the hadith is saying that if, let's say, you have we don't find ourselves in that situation here. Let's say a place where you have water in the bucket, and then you are in a state of junub. That's the only water in the house. You went to have ghusl, and you left some left over from that. Your wife is also in the state of junub. She cannot use that water. That is the first hadith that he read. And the second one said, the Prophet ﷺ, he came home, he is going to have a ghusl. And his wife said, the water you saw in the container, I just finished having ghusl. That was the leftover. And he said, it is not going to be najis. just because you've used the water. Okay, so there's like more or less a contradiction. This one, the contradiction part of this hadith is when the previous hadith, the narrator said, Naha, the Prophet ﷺ has forbid. If he said, we are doing this, and the Prophet ﷺ said, don't do that, not because he said it's haram, then this one is okay. But the moment he used the word Naha, he has forbid us to do that. And this is another hadith, the wife said that he used that. Okay? But we are not in that situation because we go straight under the tap, so no one is going to use water and left over. But here also is to do with water that was having ghusl and then left over, not water that was drunk and left over. Alright? We will see combination of this and also wudu, which will come in the previous next hadith, and we'll be able to match all together, inshallah. Yes, any question from those online? Alright, inshallah, we will cut you off. Inshallah, we hope next week, inshallah, we continue with our lesson. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت ونستغفرك ونتوب إليك سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين.
يموت بغيظ من يغيظه فإنه للدين يعلو سرمدا ويرفرف فيا ربي
آمين يا رب العالمين.
يا ربي فاسلك بي صراط محمد وصحبي وأولادي ومن يتحنف وتغفر لي والوالدين وهب لنا دخول جنان الله نخاف ونأسف وهب لي مرادي في إقامة دين من نفى ما سوى الإسلام في الكون يعرفوا مولاي هذا الشيب والعيب زائد وحق لعيبي أنا ذاك يخفف وإن دام هذا العيب والشيب هكذا سأقلع شيبي مثل غيري وأنتف